and it's a warm-up for the paper, for the color, for the colors, for the combination colors of how you might render a grape. It is in my grape life, I kind of have done. I'm going to use my filbert again. You may recall, if you were here last year, that I've never used this before, and I just came to really love it. I do love it. I thought I had it with me when I went away this summer, and I didn't. So it's locked up here. Here is the Fabriano hot press. Here is the.
That's gorgeous.
This is the multimedia if you want to try it. When push came to shove, as always, I still loved best both of the Fabrianos, the hot press and the cold press. This is a little drier, but it's sort of fun. And since I'm giving it free to you, you can do anything you want. Somebody wanted to use a whole half sheet. I have another sheet. But the way I did the grapes, and I think it's kind of a little contemplative, nice study thing to do, where you you just play with what colors you can drop in, which will inform them. The reason I used grapes, anyway, is because they are all, there are many colors, even in the green ones, which seem pure green. As you play with them, whether it's bouncing from another thing or you just suddenly start noticing, you know, that there's some browns, some burnt sienna, something like that, that is in there. Not that it's in there so it's going to be what you see when you look, so much as it's just a little bit of information. And the red, purple grapes are completely filled with colors. In fact, within a bunch, just as this is, they vary. You know, there's a lot more yellow, sort of shining out of that. So I'm going to start with an under color. The real one. And I'm going to then drop in the informational colors. Let me see what I have. So this is Peroline Scarlet, which is quite an orangey red compared to say alizarin or permanent rose or something. And I'm trying to get this to do its mixing on its own. Now I'm going to use some cerulean to neutralize and purplize what's in there, and that's going to be all on one grape. You don't have to do this. You can do, you know, one-shot grapes if you want. But part of the little exercise, if you choose to do this, is to take the time to see what happens when they mix themselves, because that often just will pick up the. In fact, I'm going to go sort of smear out some here. One might think that this is dominated too much by the yellow, considering it's the. But we're not sure, are we? I have some alizarin here too, so I want to cool this down. 5 colors in one grape? Are you saying this is illegal?
Yes. In some circles. In some circles. But there's no such thing as watercolor jail, so we're
oh, no. Are you talking about FM?
Yeah.
That is fine. I mean, you know, I think do it whatever you want, but I think if you can get these undercolors that just will do this stuff, it's just great fun. Particularly with something like a grape. Now I'm not going to do anything here because I wanted to try to mix. If you get the hovering thing, and if you put your water where you want it, and if you put your, or even come back and pull out a light like this, you will get the modeling will take care of itself too. Remember the dried edges along here take care of part of the modeling of the shading because the paint seeks that dried edge to go to. So I'm going to just leave that. It's a little violent for me, maybe not for anyone else. And when I said that I felt that the yellow was too dominant, now I feel it's too receding. So I am now going with my different brushes for, I'm going to wet this one. I'm going to try this one as the green. Again, I am going to put some yellow, the Ariel in yellow. And then, should I not use this? All right, I won't use it.
Why not?
Why not?
Just mix it with a
Most greens are prettier when you mix yellows.
You can start with that and then...
sienna.
Just, what'd you say?
Mix it with a burnt sienna.
Okay,
No,
I will, but I'm not going to mix it on my palette.
No,
I'll
no,
do
mix
that.
it on the paper.
I'll do a little bit of this in the way in which I see it. This is phthalo yellow green, and
It's great watermelon, right?
it makes me, and whatever that other melon's called, you know, melon.
Oh, yes, honeydew.
Honeydew. This with opera. I'll do a little burnt sienna, or this is probably quinacridone.
Gold.
Quinacridone,
What is it?
what do you call it? Burnt orange, which is a burnt sienna. Another burnt sienna. You want me to do a little burnt sienna, right?
No, something like, the burnt orange is fine. Something like that just to neutralize it a little.
Right, okay, and I'm going to do it again as a modeling thing.
As much as I love that color.
And I am now, but I'm also going to put, not only to neutralize and greenify, but also the cerulean. You know, that sort of dusky, grapey stuff. A best way, in my opinion, to get that or get at it is to try to go to a neutral, and then you can play with letting it. Now, when you're playing with grapes, you also want to, you have to keep, like if you're doing 2 or 3, you want to go back and check whatever you're doing here, which to me is much too pink. I want it dull, and I think I'm just going to put a rewash, a little bit of, having said not that I wouldn't, and just let that percolate a bit. This is Fabriano cold press.
So if that were hot press, you couldn't do that.
Yes, you could.
You could.
That's here too. And
Did you ever try the soft press?
yes, I don't love it like you do, or like Kathy. A lot of people like, some of you, if you haven't tried the Fabrianos, I didn't like it as much as you, but you're absolutely right. It takes anything coming, going, pulling out. I'll do another grape here on the hot press. I don't know. It's probably because I'm just so stuck in the mud about the old one that I'm a negative person. I'm going to put a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to go back to my filbert. The filbert is a softer brush. This brush, which I'm devoted to, as you know, the thing about it too is wherever it has a much more assertive touch on the paper, and it picks up changes the paper more than other brushes. I'm adding a little of the cobalt in there too. And I'm kind of looking and waiting for, mix those a little, for the moment when I could just pull out a little bit of a soft light, not trying to get, I've lost where my grape is. I'm just going to start without wetting paper. I'm going to start here with just 2 colors, or fewer colors. I'm not starting with the yellow. Here's the alizarin. Give it a second. And put in. Okay, no, wait. I'm going to go over here.
It's just the right time now.
Remember, if you're working wet and then just adding things and going back with water or whatever, there comes a moment, when it's dry or almost dry, when you can do, if you like to do final harder edged or sharper shadows or whatever, then you can. So there, I'm just trying to preserve the light that comes up from under with the, in this case, a railing. Now this one, I'm going to just try this simple thing, and I will do, where is the grape? There's a very lusty. Here's ultramarine. So, too much water. Everything's about the water.
Speechless.
Let's see. Everything's about water and gravity, too. And if you want a color, and you don't have to want this, but if you want a color to inform your color, the real color is red or green, but you're seeing these whatever tinges or informational things that really make it more green or more red or more whatever it really centrally is. If you have like a tiny bit of an edge like that, that purpley thing is going to be more purple than if you just mixed it here and like this and put it down. I know that sounds obvious.
I think you're like Julia Child, where you throw the things on the floor. She just,
Oh God,
it's in
yes.
her kitchen,
Right. No,
Some minion is down
Yeah.
there looking it all up.
Yeah. Now that's going to be a beautiful purple. I have to say.
Yeah, but it doesn't have those
But
red edges.
I don't think it will have just that wonderful thing. And here is a purple.
Missing.
And if, as you know too, any kind of use of color, if it's just a heavy thing, you are not getting the color components that it is in a purple, say a convenience color purple. But if you have enough water or enough of the light of the paper, more to put it that way, coming through, those things. I mean, that I would think would dry so that you would see that pinky red, even though it's dominantly purple. I'm not going to even do anything to those. Now I'm going to go back here just to pull out one little, even more of a thing. And I'm not, my edge kind of lost, but you can, more to the point, it formed an edge because I wasn't monitoring it. So fixing that. I'm just going to leave them. I'm not going to do anything more on that right now. And then I'm going to compare these when these dry. I could pull out a little of the And when you do any kind of pull-out, you want it to be reflective of the modeling of the thing, unlike what I just did. So I'm just going to put more water and let it seek its self, to soften that. Okay, so that is the very modest looking at a grape and playing with a grape. The reason I think it's a good thing to do, even if you have no interest in grapes or whatever, is if you do this kind of concentration between papers,